Welcome back everyone to another ESO guide, this time into Tales of Tribute. Before I get into that though, can I just thank each and every one of you for the amazing support? You guys with all the likes, comments and subscribing has honestly left me stunned. To think this many of you like and enjoy what I do and also stick around for more. So thank you. Thank you for all the support, and I'll continue doing what I do as long as you keep on enjoying it. So, let's roll on with Tribute. So what is Tales of Tribute? Tales of Tribute is a new-ish card game that was introduced to ESO with the High Isle chapter. So let's get something very clear. In order to start this journey into Tribute, and in order to play it, you must own the High Isle chapter. So if you own High Isle, or want to buy it, then how do you start Tribute? Well, you need to make your way to Gonfalon Bay, High Isle's main port city. Once there, you need to seek out the Roysters Club, a den, if you like, for all those who enjoy Tales of Tribute. There, you'll meet a wood elf called Bragus. He will take you through Tribute and teach you how to play it. However, I'll try my best too. So Tales of Tribute is a card game. One in which you can go up against other players, or NPCs for a slightly easier challenge. There is also a ranking system that links to the achievements, and also a leaderboard system in regards to playing with other real players. For every game won, regardless if it's against an NPC or a real player, you will be granted with a pretty decent loot box, which can contain crafting materials, transmute crystals, and also sometimes motifs. There are also daily quests associated with Tribute too. One daily quest is to beat 3 NPCs around Tamriel, whereas the other is to beat 3 other players. Oh, and that's a good point to make. Every tavern around Tamriel has now been filled with NPCs that you can challenge to a game of Tribute. Okay. So how do you play Tales of Tribute? Tales of Tribute currently has 9 patrons. I'm going to keep this super simple. Patrons are the equivalent to houses. Everyone has seen a deck of cards, right? You have hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. However, all the cards within each of those houses are the same, aren't they? 2 of diamonds, 2 of spades, 2 of clubs, etc, etc. Well, the patrons in Tales of Tribute, again, similar to houses, have different unique cards. The patrons are also named after lore-friendly characters. So for example, the patron or house, Duke of Crows, will have completely different cards to the patron or house, Sigic Loremaster Kellerus. You have chosen an opponent and are ready to face them in a game of Tribute. To begin with, 4 patrons need to be selected. Now when you start your Tribute journey, you will only have access to 4 patrons. As you complete content and achievements, you'll be granted more patrons to choose from. So, back to the match. You pick 2 patrons, and so does your opponent. All the cards from those 4 patrons selected are brought together and shuffled. Now the match has started, it's time for you and your opponent to draw from that pile. Now keep in mind that you can draw any card from any of those 4 patrons. Just because you personally selected 2 of those 4 patrons doesn't make them yours. You just chose 2 of them that will be present within the match. It will all make sense if I show you the layout of a game. So this is what a match of Tribute looks like. On the right, you have the 4 patrons that were chosen by me and my opponent. I chose the Duke of Crows and the Druid King, and my opponent chose Grandmaster Delamain and Loremaster Kellerus. All the cards from those 4 patrons are in the pile of cards on the far left. 5 cards will be present in the middle, which is called the Tavern. We can draw cards from the Tavern to add to our decks. Makes sense so far? So, when in a game of Tribute, your goal is of course to win. So how do you win? Well, in order to win a game of Tribute, you can do so in two ways. Let's start with possibility number 1, to get your prestige to 40 before your opponent does. Now just next to the tavern you'll see 3 shapes with the number 0 in them. A gold circle, a red diamond, and a blue hexagon. The gold circle represents your total gold. Gold is accumulated by playing cards that give you gold. It's that simple. With that gold, you can then buy cards from the tavern to add to your deck. Once you end your turn though, all gold is lost, so make sure to spend as much as you can in your turn. You'll start the next turn off with 0 gold. The red diamond represents your power. You gain power by playing cards that grant you power. Again, super simple. Buy cards with your gold that grant you power, then when you end up playing them, you'll get power. Now at the end of your turn, like I said, all gold left over is lost. All power you have accumulated, however, is converted into prestige, the blue hexagon. Your aim is to get 40 prestige in order to win. Now if you reach 40, your opponent will have 1 turn and 1 turn only to try and catch up. If they do and overtake you, the game will continue until one player can't overtake the other. This isn't endless though. The moment a player reaches 80, the game will end immediately. No other turn for the other player. The other possibility to win a game is to make all the patrons favour you. Okay, stay with me here. The patrons on the right were chosen by you and your opponent. That then dictated what cards will be available that game. However, notice that they have arrows on their individual circles. All the arrows in this game, for example, are pointing to the middle, apart from the Loremaster Kellerus, who is pointing at me. Each patron has a special ability. For example, the Duke of Crows, once used, will allow me to convert all my gold gained in a round into power, which as you know, will then become prestige. So if I have 20 gold, and I use the Duke, I will then end up with 20 power, and therefore, once I end my turn, 20 prestige. Pretty powerful, eh? Once you have used a patron ability, they will then favour you, just like the Loremaster in this current game. If all patrons favour you, the game ends immediately and you win, regardless of each player's prestige. However, don't get cocky with making all patrons favour you as quickly as possible. Your opponent can very easily use those patrons themselves and turn them back toward the neutral position, meaning that patron won't favour you anymore. So now you know how to win a game of Tribute, I want to talk about the cards themselves and what each icon on a card means. On a card, you will see a number at the very top. That is how much the card costs to buy. If you see a number at the bottom of a card, that is its health, because that card is an agent. An agent card doesn't play like every other card. An agent card will be placed just underneath your gold, prestige and power numbers, and stay there until your opponent spends their power to destroy it. The amount of power needed depends on the card's health. If your opponent doesn't see this agent as a threat, and decides to ignore it, then that agent will be available for you to use every single turn. So essentially, you actually get 6 cards per round, not 5. On the left side of a card is the effects you will gain from playing that card, whether it be gold, power, the ability to destroy one of your cards, the ability to get rid of cards from the tavern, etc, etc. If you see an icon on the right side of a card, that is the synergy effect. These effects can only be gained if you play cards of the same patron one after another. So, if you see a Crow card that says grants 2 power with a combo of 2, that means that if you play 2 Crow cards within the same turn, you will be granted the card's usual effects and also that extra 2 power due to the combo and synergy. So what I'm going to do now is stop talking, as I'm sure it's a lot to take in, and let you guys watch some tribute matches of mine, and hopefully you can see everything I went on about in action. So I just want to mention that this is a very basic guide, beginners almost, for Tales of Tribute. If you guys like this and it helped, then let me know, because I may do another guide, but step it up a bit and show off some great moves and skills you can do to turn the match to your favour. So keep in mind, this is a basic guide. This should help get newer players up and running with Tribute, but do let me know if you want more. I'd love to show off some awesome Tribute wins. So if this video did help and you enjoyed, then let's continue with this awesome support you guys have shown me and continue with liking and subscribing. Thank you all so much. Take care.